Okay, you're good.
All right. Start the meeting, call to order with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, that way we'll start the commissioner meeting for January 17th. With first up is the approval of minutes from the regular meeting on January 3rd.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Did we get them the email? That's the first time I've seen it.
I emailed them, give me just a little bit of slack here. Jerry's approving them, he just didn't even get to see them yet, I'm sorry.
And we'll move, do you wanna move it to the end and send it over to us? Okay.
That's why I asked earlier today, I didn't see claims until.
Well,
Those
the
came in at
claims
the end.
are, yeah, I got all these.
Okay, then we'll push that to the bottom to give a chance to review further, for those of us who haven't seen them. The next up, I'll move to the approval of claims.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Got a motion by Jamie, a second by Sherry, for approval of claims, all in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we have update from Highway Superintendent, Mr. Thomas.
We had to replace the radiator in the dump truck after the snowstorm, luckily got through that one. I've been preparing some roads for the first round of community crossing 2023. Carla has the bid packages going out for the bids for Plum Creek, Soapville, Red Hog Pike, and Boulder Tavern Eagle Road.
I think those all went out today. I saw those, yeah.
Should be opened on the 6th of February.
Okay.
If I can get it ready to go. You guys been putting stone on gravel roads, we did some long arming on Grand Creek and Open Hill. We installed a new bus turnaround on Sullivan Road, Gary was asking about that. The grader is back together, we're waiting on the radiator and the oil cooler to show up, so we can test everything, but it is back together. You guys know I did have 2 resignations in my department, so I'll be looking for 2 new hires, and anybody wants to sit on that when I do this. Interview, thank you. You're welcome to, I'll let you know when it's scheduled. One on your end, one on Grant's.
Okay. Yeah, then just keep us posted, and then,
I have two applicants I'm gonna call now, we have their CDL, but.
yep, I'd seen that. Do we do exit interviews? Do we have, I know we had talked about that once before.
Like they both did exit interviews, right?
I did, unless did you or Carly give it to him?
I think Carla did, yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they both did.
Okay, cause I know we started getting, do we standardize a form, or is that?
Yes.
We have a standard form.
Yeah, okay,
I didn't see it, but I know they did.
okay, good.
Haven't looked at them, so. Not a bad thing for me.
So, I think I read your text, so you appointed Barry.
Yes,
For
Barry.
the road boss.
Murray and the old road ball. Their checks.
Okay, good. On the highway.
Yeah, I don't have
Okay.
I think while you were out also just, what was it? We did another possibility to do a new turnaround off of, Dugan. I think while you were out for your father, we approved one to be the people at the back of Dugan, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
Some new people bought the property and did not want the bus turnaround there anymore, so the property, next one up the road, gave us approval to put it there, and Jamie and I went ahead and approved it, and we got done, so. So, you know, check for that also.
All right, moving on. Susie, do we have any old business that needs addressed?
I know.
No? new business, first thing we have planning and zoning, Mr. John Canola.
Thank you. I know you're busy, so I'll be as brief as possible. We all realize it's been so far impossible to enforce zoning ordinances in Switzerland County and Beebe, but Patriot continues to be successful. December 20th, I was an observer in our local courtroom for 2 cases that were decided in Patriot's favor. Rusty, unoccupied, dilapidated mobile home with 3 different types of fencing was in violation for years. It was adjudicated in favor of the town. The owner was ordered to pay court costs, legal fees, and $2,500 fine. Also, same day, a home on 4th Street was requested to clean up for over a year and didn't. There should be a sheriff's sale within 60 days for this home, according to our local judge on this property. And also, there should be another case coming to court March 7th. I'll sit down and shut up.
I think it's interesting that you brought that, information to the commissioners, John. I did actually talk to one of the members of town council today to try and understand some of the new ordinances they've enacted.
Town
So-
of Beebe or town of Patriot?
Beebe.
Oh, okay.
Beebe. I've had, some thoughts about what we can do as commissioners relative to the county, and I think that, as I progress, if you will, or work farther toward, putting together a committee to try and come up with, some new ordinances, some better ordinances, some ordinances that are, easily enforceable, that we don't go to court on and lose. I think you'll see some changes in the county as well. So I'm in the initial phases of seeing what, I can do as a commissioner related to changing some of the ordinances that we currently have. I wanna do it by committee. I wanna make sure that we've got all the proper representation on that committee so that we collectively come up with, some things that we can do different and hopefully start to address some of the very same issues in the county. So hopefully you'll see something in the near future.
Thank you for your time and your interest.
Yeah, and I would say I would repeat some of the same feedback. I think one of the first times you came in, this is also something, you're not the first to come in and speak with us about some of the ordinances, or more important, I think we've had some very direct, the cleanup and trash and things like that people have been expressed concern on. So that is something I've also worked on last year. I worked on it with Susie. We've not made any changes obviously yet, but it was more about starting to benchmark some of the surrounding counties. We've gotten, copies of some of their handbooks and ordinances and starting to compare, those versus ours, as ours, in a lot of cases, have a lot of room for interpretation, which, to Jamie's point, leaves it very difficult to enforce. So I would say, we welcome you to bring examples, and if there is a specific issue that you want us to make sure gets taken a look at, by all means, but that will be something we continue to look at.
I'll continue to show up and be a best then.
Okay. Next up, we have the Purdue Extension annual report.
Share a couple of documents with you, you don't mind? Well, thank you for allowing me a little bit of time just to talk about our 2022 annual report. I know Jamie and Gail have just heard me talk at the council meeting. I apologize for hearing it again, but we just want to talk about the really great things we're doing in our extension office and in the 4-H program. And the annual report does a really good job of kind of highlighting some of those events that we did in 2022, and we'll also be doing in 2023. So wanted to point out my new colleague, which is Julie Threadgill. Julie's been with us since May of 22. Doing a great job for us, doing a lot of training, and trying to do some really good programs for the Switzerland County residents. So very proud of that. We have a little clip of our 4-H youth development, our 4-H program. Just a couple things, if you don't mind, the 4-H membership. We have just a little over 200 kids from grades K to 12 in our program, so we're very proud of those members that are with us. We have 65 amazing adult volunteers from Switzerland County. The project entries for this last Switzerland County 4-H fair, we had 383 livestock entries. 323 exhibit hall entries, and we had 90 entries go to the Indiana State Fair. So the Indiana State Fair average attendance is somewhere around 800,000. So you possibly had hundreds of thousands of folks going and seeing Switchland County projects, which is pretty impressive for those folks at the State Fair and our Switchland County youth. So what I'm really proud of is the livestock auction data there. So we had just under $250,000 given to our local youth. So that was a record for the Switchland County 4-H Fair. So all I can say is thank you to Switchland County. We had 91 different buyers, but what I'm really impressed by, there were 59 buyers that were either from Switchland County businesses or they were Switchland County residents that were buying for their organization or their work. So pretty proud of what Switchland County is doing for our youth. And we all know that I've been to the 4-H program, that money pays for cars and college educations and these types of things. So pretty proud of what we're doing in the Switchland County 4-H program as far as preparing our youth to be better citizens and be very prepared for the future. Just a couple things on page 2. Just a couple other programs that we do. We do the Marshall Mentor Program, which is a peer-to-peer teaching program from high school mentors to high school mentors. And we do that for both elementary schools and the middle school. So normally we have about 20 high school mentors, which will come over and spend some time with those youth. It's a great way to build that peer-to-peer relationship and get those kids that may need a little assistance and some good volunteerism going there. The 10th grade leadership program is pretty intensive. It's a 2-day intensive program we've been doing for about 20 years or so. It involves a lot of leadership, team building, civic engagement, community service. We spend a day out in the farmstead outside of town here working with the Historical Society, trying to get them prepared for their season. So we're very proud of the efforts of those 20 10th grade students that come out and help us do that. So we're proud of that program. In the after-school program, one of the things that we do in the extension program is we teach lessons every month to both elementaries and their After the Bell program. So we typically do between 16 and 18 lessons out there per year. So we do a lot of STEM programming, do a lot of nature teaching programs, teaching the youth about nature and all these types of things. So it's great to get out and give back to our school system because they give so much to the community. So and there's just a list of the 65 amazing volunteers that I mentioned. So very proud to have those individuals working with our 4-H program. Then on page 3, and we'll just talk about the last 2 areas that we do the Ag and Natural Resources program. At the very top is educational resources and consultations, right? When I talked to you earlier about contractual services, this is what we offer as part of our contractual services. So if a person has an issue with a tree disease or an insect that's bothered them, I will go out and take a look at those particular trees and insects and see if I can assist them with educational resources and help them solve their issue that they're having. And that's all done at no cost because that's part of our contractual services. The only additional fee that might happen is we have to send something to our lab at Purdue to get a diagnosis or something. So talk about the Jefferson Switchland County Master Gardener Program. We've been doing this again about over 20 years, where we have a very intensive 14-week program where we learn everything from vegetable gardening to weed science, to soil science, to plant science. So we're still taking the application for that class, but it's a great class for anyone in Switchland County to take part of and increase their knowledge of gardening. It's really pretty intensive. A couple things on the HHS side of the Health and Human Services side on the very bottom is we offer Captain Cash. Captain Cash is a financial literacy program that we do for the 3rd graders, and the schools really enjoy having that program. It teaches these individuals how to become better with money, and we all know that that's a great thing for our youth to be able to become more literate in finances. And then the last one is the ServSafe program. If you've ever been to a restaurant or the gas stations here in Switchland County, you see that big ServSafe certificate. Well, that's part of Purdue Extension's job is to kind of train and to offer those exams. So we're happy to offer those assistance for local businesses that we have in the community. And the very last page is a list of our volunteer organizations. We have the Extension Board. We have the Fair Board on there as well. We have an advisory committee for our Ag program, for our 4-H youth program, our HHS. We also have the Extension Homemakers Council. So great to have those individuals on those boards with us and those organizations. So I'm thankful you indulged me tonight. So I wanted to ask if there are any questions from the group.
I don't have any. But I do thank you for coming in and giving us the update.
All right. Last thing you have is the annual meeting. We have an Extension Service annual meeting. Superintendent Hyde will be there on February 15th to give a report on the school system, not just the new construction, but kind of an overall view of what's going on in the school system. So, thank you very much.
Next up, we have a YMCA update from Sarah Brickdale.
Yeah, I thought our board president, George Felix, if you want to come up here, you don't have to, I'm George. Anyway, I came here, I understand that you guys usually get updates on numbers and usage and stuff. I honestly couldn't figure out how to do that. So what I have here is a list of county employees who actually come to the Y, who are signed up as members, and it's 117 units, which, if you look on page 3, do the math, it amounts to about over $65,000 worth of membership, so you get a really good deal, which is great because research shows that people who exercise lower their insurance bills by 25%, so it's a really good thing to offer your employees and to encourage them to come to the Y. And to that end, we are obviously on new, we have a lot of new staff, we've got some plans to, we're in flux, we're in change, we're in a building phase of the Y. And right now, what the board wants to do, we have a lot of, people at the ends of life, the young people, kids in school and retired people. And what we're targeting is the workforce age people, people with kids, and trying to build some programs to attract those people to the Y, for their help, and also because it's an economic development asset. It's the kind of thing that people who are moving, first-time home buyers and remote workers are looking for. They're looking for places to exercise, places of community, walkability. We have this amazing trail, and so we're a really good asset for the economic development. But I also wanted to bring to your attention, I did that resiliency study for regional planning, and we did a lot of data gathering, and within that, I found that Switzerland County, unfortunately, has the lowest per capita income in the state. It has a very high ALICE rating, which stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed, which is a nice way for saying working poor. It's that population is like one car battery away from being evicted. And our rating is at 48%, so nearly half the county is working, but just barely hanging on. And it's a reflection on the Y, because nearly half the county probably, it's a luxury for them to be Y members. So the reason we are a nonprofit and we're not just a health club is because we do offer scholarships, but we need help to offset the costs of those scholarships. So the more people we can get at the Y, obviously the healthier the population. Because another bad statistic within all this is that we're 88th in the state for our health ranking. So it's good business to try to get the county a little bit healthier, and the Y is certainly capable. It's been doing that for 20 years, and our plans are to push more of that, get more membership. That's what's going to sustain us. But we need your help, and we are grateful for the help you've given us in the past. But I think we can continue helping you, and we'd like to work with you a little further to see what you want to do and see what the Y can offer to help do that. We help the schools. We have lots of partnerships and collaborations, and obviously the partnership with the county is big. You're our biggest clients, more or less. And George wanted to talk about assets, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay in fact if possible. Two things. We made some changes in our policies from the fall, where we allowed essentially trainers to come in and conduct one-on-one training with people, but they're not Y employees, so we've got a contract that identifies us. What that has done, though, is draw a lot of presence from the gym club, whatever that thing is over by Belterra, and those trainers are now coming to the Y, which we think is really good. We have a much better facility for doing that kind of stuff. The second is on the CEO search. The advertisement for the position is out. We're starting to get resumes in. We expect to see a bunch of those resumes probably the first couple of weeks in February. We'll see where we're standing. We're still looking for an April fill to have a full-time person let Sarah go back to her regular life, which would be good. The third thing I wanted to bring up is a philosophical thing, and take it for what it's worth. A couple of years ago, when I was just a member over the Y, somebody asked me how I would position the value proposition for the Y to you. And I said, well, if you're doing a typical value prop, you say, here's your county employees, here's what we offer them, here's the great value you get for giving the Y money. And over the years, especially now that I've been on the board, I've kind of reevaluated that, and I want to give it to you. The Y can be seen as a vendor, which is that value proposition. It also can be seen as a county asset, because of what it does for bringing people here, how we touch different segments of the population. And the way you would fund a county asset or a community asset is different than the way you would do with a value prop for just employees, right? It's just employees who say, you have X number of employees, here's how much money they would spend if they had to buy a Y membership, you get a discounted rate for that, that's for you. If you think about it as a community investment, then that changes, and I don't know what it changes into, but I think when you view the Y as something that is an anchor for the community, it's different than just paying for discounted memberships for county employees, because we're really trying to take care of the county at large, the whole population. So I don't know where that goes, but I wanted to give that to you, because I think my point of view on that's changed, and I think as we work through that, there's probably a different way to value what the Y is to the county.
Can I have one more thing? And this is just some cool news that I found out when I got this job 3 months ago. Our service area is not just Fitzroy County. I don't know how the Y figures this out, but the national Y has us far into Kentucky. We have Gallatin County, Carroll County, Ohio County, Jefferson County. And so we've got this huge territory of service that we could serve, that it's kind of our responsibility to start serving. Two different places reached out to us to look at being satellite wise for us. So there's growth potentially in the future, one in Jefferson County and Madison and the other in Carrollton. So, there's a lot going on, and it's kind of exciting, and I hope you'll support us. And I would like to come back to the next meeting, because I gave you all the stats and numbers and stuff in case you have some questions. I won't necessarily have to talk so much, but.
So you had no way of, checking the exact number of visits that the employees made in 22?
We could.
I know we had Eric tracking that for us.
Yeah, it's a huge readout, but we can't track, it doesn't, we have an after hours for members.
Sure.
And that system doesn't sync in with the regular system, so we have no way of tracking, of finding out who comes after the Y closes. Now, I don't know if it's a huge amount, but it's just inaccurate. I'll keep working on it. I don't know how he did it in the past, but I'll keep working on it. Maybe next month I'll get it.
So, and that's one of the questions I've been asking for going on 5 years now. How do we know what the true participation rate is of the county employees for the Y? And when I say county employees, that includes your family. So, for example, let's say we've got 100 county employees. Combined with family members that are eligible as well, we have 500, just throwing out numbers, okay?
Right.
So, and let's say that the Y is open or available to them 300 days a year. So, potentially you have 1,500 days available, right? Or 1,500, 300, 500 employees and family members times 300 days, actually that's 15,000. 15,000 visit potential, right? Of that 15,000, we only had 5,000, for example. So our participation rate is 33%. Is there a way to give us that type of number?
It depends on, I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump in.
Try.
Because I've worked with Eric as we tried to figure this out. To a point, yes. The problem is, your kids on the swim teams. Do we count that as a clock-in? Your kids are playing on the basketball team, so the parents are coming in to watch them go to practice and play basketball. Do those count as single use or 2 uses or 3 uses because there's 2 kids in there? So we can get, that's what we look at. We're like,
My opinion is, yeah, I mean, if they clocked in and was there that day, then, consider it utilization of that facility for that day. I mean, that's just my opinion, just that way it makes it not that much easier, right? If you just count everything,
Okay.
because I'd like to truly understand what the real participation rate is, and not to say anything negative about Eric, but I almost felt like either the information wasn't available, or he understood what I was asking for and felt like the number was so low that it would negatively reflect on why. I don't know what the case was, but we've never been able to get a real number.
1995 mainframe system, trying to pull information out of it is.
Yeah, there's gotta be a way, we've just gotta figure it out. We probably won't be able to get the after hours numbers, but we probably.
Don't they have to swipe or something to get in?
They do, but I don't think we have access, it lets them in, but it doesn't sync with, DAX.
Doesn't say who they let in.
Right.
It's got the pictures and everything, but then we have to look through all the pictures and it's just, it's not perfect system.
Understand.
And we might be able to change that, because, well, if we make some upgrades, if we could get it to sync, then it would be easier.
So for the next 2 weeks, then, I will dedicate what little time I have in my life to trying to figure this out.
Oh, good.
Well, I certainly appreciate your dedication. And for me, it's a matter of, I hear both sides of the argument. There's a group of people, or there's people in the county that says, hey, it's a waste of taxpayer money. There's other people that says, hey, you're not gonna discontinue it, it's a very good use of taxpayer money, right? So I think if we have good numbers that we could base our decisions off of, certainly it would help.
So I got a question for you guys. Did you ever sign that PHI contract, that helicopter go fly around thing?
No.
Okay. I'm just curious. though. 'Cause that's- No, and here's why, because it was another program which would be the county spending money for the benefit of everyone, but really for the benefit of a small subset. It puts the 20 or 30 or 50 people a year that need to get medevac now.
Thought he was gonna get us, didn't he?
I'm sorry?
You thought he was gonna get us, didn't
No,
he?
I was just curious. I'm a helicopter pilot. I used to, we can talk about that over beer. But I know the PHI guys before they walk.
No, we got, very similar to the Y, we got pros
Sure.
and cons feedback, and based on the feedback that we got, we just never did go ahead and make a final decision.
George, will you step up to?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So I'll make a stab over the next 2 weeks to drop in a system to do that. But I want you guys to think about, decoupling the value of the Y from county employees. And how you would value the Y from a county perspective, not just the 100 or so employees that you have and their kids. What does it mean to the county to have the building there? Have it think right. So I'll do my part, you do your part, we'll come back in 2 weeks and.
Well, I think what you're asking us to do is very difficult, because the rest of the county has to pay to utilize the Y, correct?
Mhm.
So, it's hard for me to value, me personally, to say, here's how I would value it for someone else. If I had a lot of people coming to me saying, hey, I think that the county should do something so that all of us can utilize the Y, then that would be a way for me to give it some,
We'd say
value,
that.
right?
We would say, yeah, that would be fine, because, 48% of the county probably can't afford the Y, so that.
and I'm not saying I won't try to do what you're asking, I'm just not sure in my head yet how I do that, right?
It took me a couple of years to get there, so, 2 weeks is probably a short time.
Remember, the only other Y in the region is Batesville, so we stand alone, we stand out, it's a pretty good.
I think that was a question that came up when I sat in on that, we had community members
Right.
meetings. Community members meetings, that was a question that came up amongst many of us, is that, how do we attract more people to the Y?
Sure.
I mean, it's important.
We're working on it.
It's not just what we do here as far membership down so that the people that are just hanging on can come to the Y and can, people can afford the Y.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
that's
just so
important.
you know, we're working on a grant through the Y Alliance that just was released on Thursday. And it's to target, low-income students, mostly teens, tweens, and traumatized kids. And it will support the staff for those students, and I don't know if it's gonna support scholarships for them. So we'll probably be looking for money for scholarships for those kids, but those are the kids whose lives could really be changed by Y participation, so, it's a good thing. Any questions?
Nice. We certainly appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have a board appointment for the East Enterprise Sewer District. We have currently one open appointment, correct?
Correct, yes, because our long-term, member,
Mr. Suki.
Yes, has resigned, and so you had one applicant, Melissa Jones.
Okay, and that's one we've been advertising for quite a while.
Yes, we've advertised that a couple times
Yep.
on Facebook, correct?
Okay, great. So at this time, we have the one, and we have, I don't see it here, but do we have, the paper?
It should be there, it should have, around the date, look behind your agenda,
Oh, maybe it's a very,
there you go.
yep, there we go, sorry. Okay, we do have the one, paper applicant. So then, with that, I'd make a motion to approve Melissa Jones, to the board appointment for the East Enterprise Sewer District.
I'll second.
Got a second by Jamie. So got a motion by myself, a second by Jamie to approve Melissa Jones to the East Enterprise Sewer District. All in favor?
Aye.
And then next up, we have the Southeast Indiana Workforce Board, one commissioner appointment.
I overlooked this one, so this is a board that Jamie got on, I think, in mid-21. And I just wanted to circle back to you all to see, did Jamie want to continue on that board? I don't know, Jamie, do you have quarterly meetings? Is that my understanding, quarterly meetings?
Possibly.
I don't think, I know when I talked to the gentleman a year or so ago, I know due to COVID, they weren't meeting regularly in person, but they were having some virtual meetings.
I can't tell you the last time I received a
Email
board
or-
meeting notice for this board, just to
Okay.
be honest.
Okay. Well, and it's separate, I think the Southeastern Indiana Workforce Board, it represents like 10 different counties, we're one of 10 counties. So again, my notes show that Jamie, you were appointed back on June 7th of 21, to this board.
I have no problem continuing on this
Okay.
board, and then I can go reach out to find out why I haven't been receiving any, meeting
Notice.
board meeting notices, because I don't recall any, that doesn't mean I haven't received them, but.
And I'm familiar with the gentleman's, I think his first name is Kurt with, Workforce One. I could reach out to him and ask him if they've been regular.
They have been.
Okay.
Then with that, I'd make a motion to appoint Jamie Peters to the Southeast Indiana Workforce Board.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by myself, second by Jerry to appoint Jamie to the Southeast Indiana Workforce Board. Commissioner appointment, all in favor? Aye. Okay, next up, we have courtroom ceiling fans.
Yes, you might recall that when we had the architects, put together the drawings for the renovation of the courtroom, they recommended installing 2 large ceiling fans, towards where the judge sits. And so I didn't know if you wanted to proceed forward with ordering those. We got a quote from Lumens. This is the actual fan that, architectural firm recommended, this fan. So the total cost would be $1,156. That includes the 2 fans and then 2 72-inch rods, depending on where we, obviously they would be above the lights would hang lower, but the fans, some would be shorter, but they'll give us they recommended at least a 72-inch rod, which can be cut down if, the electrician or you all want it to be shorter than the 72 inches.
So I don't recall it, and it's been a while, but so that was from the engineer that was saying, and was there other than, cause I don't think we need the lighting, cause we've addressed the
Yeah,
lighting.
we've already
but-
ordered the lighting, we just hadn't ordered the fans up to this point, so I wanted to make sure if you wanted to go and order these, we can, or we can wait.
Yeah, I thought that was all, I thought it was together.
Oh, no, it
I'm
was,
sorry.
that was just those were just the lights, those were just the 12 lights we ordered, it was not the 2 fans. And certainly, they're not gonna be installed anytime soon, so if we order them, it's potentially have to store them like we have the lights, but I just wanna make you all aware of the cost of them.
Does this include installation?
No, this is just the fan, we'll have to have the electrician, we've been using Dean Housemeyer, he was the one that was contracted to do the lighting.
Okay.
Did we go ahead and rough in the wiring for these?
Yes, oh, you know what, now that you say that, you're right, I bet this is in his quote to install, because he roughed in for the electric connections for the fans, you're right, so this probably doesn't, so this would, let me go back on this quote.
You have to confirm me one thing,
Yeah.
roughing it in versus the actual install, but
Right, let me pull his contract that he initially gave us for the,
What that's
lights,
going.
I bet it does, because he did rough in for the fans, cause he's already pulled that. Yeah, if you go up there, you can see where the fans are going to be.
Do you know by chance are these DC motor fans? I know they run on AC, but.
I don't know
Like,
about
okay,
that.
I have very similar fans in one of my buildings,
Okay.
and they're actually DC motor, they last a lot, they last a long time, that's why
Okay,
I asked.
I can certainly ask the rep that I've been dealing with. This, I just pulled the information from the architect and then, sourced it through that. So I will, I'll ask you if it's a DC motor fan.
Just looking at them, I think they probably are, but I don't know.
Given that we've got plenty of time, is that
No,
something
you
we
do
can?
have plenty of
we
time.
can-
I just wanted
We
to
can
make
get some
you
more
aware.
detail on them, and then, I mean, they're pretty inexpensive for the most part, so.
Was there any, delay in getting them, do they feel like they're in stock?
No, he did not mention that to me. I'll confirm that with him, but he did not know.
Okay.
So if there's a delay.
Go back to minutes.
Yes, I was going to. So then I want to come back up to, approval of minutes, now we've all had a chance, to catch up there.
I'll make a motion to, well, you already had,
I guess,
one, Jerry.
yeah, at this point, I do have a motion from Jerry to approval of minutes.
I'll second.
I do have a second. Got a motion by Jerry, a second by Jamie to approve the regular meeting minutes from January 3rd, 23 meeting. All in favor? Okay, next up, we have board reports. Jerry, do you have any board reports since last meeting?
No.
Nor do I.
Maybe not. Okay.
I think we'll start having some this month, but I haven't really had any since probably November.
Yeah. Okay, any other announcements?
The only other thing John Bond asked me to mention is that the Link 101 project will have a virtual meeting on Thursday, January 19th at 6 p.m. Because it's virtual, he's concerned there might be people in our community that may not have reliable access to participate. So he is working to set something up at the tech center for Thursday evening. So if the community would want to go there to participate, to hear any updates concerning the Link 101 project, he's gonna work on that.
Okay, and just coordinate with them if we need that post
Yep,
on the
on
Facebook page.
announcement.
Great. Do you have anything?
I have your claims, and then I have the bond report.
Okay, are those the claims that we approved that you sent late this afternoon or this afternoon or whatever?
You
Did I
have
see-
sent them, yes, so
Oh,
I
you
have
have sent them.
done.
haven't seen those, we've approved those, so just need signatures, or is that different?
It should be the same.
Okay.
That's all she's been
Yeah.
working on. You guys can double check, cause I didn't see them. She had them in my envelope before
What are the bonds?
I was told by Dawn, the reporter, that you guys have to sign off on certain bonds. I believe mine's in here, the clerk's is in here, the sheriff's is in here.
I don't know if we've done that before.
No, probably not, this is
Okay.
something new. She has the IC code.
So I don't
and everything.
remember.
The matron, these just need to be signed off by you guys
Okay.
before they can go on and be finished and filed with reporters.
Understood. Okay. Anything else?
Have you guys have heard anything on Danny flood?
I was gonna try to give an update real quick.
Oh, okay, that's not a question I had.
Okay. Think that falls under your announcements?
Yeah. Just a couple quick items, the flood and Homeland Security. I think we finally, I don't know if I ever announced, we didn't qualify for FEMA. The threshold was just over 12 million. Total between the three counties came in at just over 11, so we didn't qualify for FEMA. We found that out approximately December the 2nd or 5th, somewhere in that area. Obviously, once we realized we didn't qualify for FEMA, the majority of the work that we had done and filled out for FEMA, we had to turn around and redo it for the state and put it in their format. The state then come back and said, okay, a lot of your debris, be it sediment and vegetative debris along or in the creeks, doesn't qualify for state funding. Now we need you to go back and calculate it based on just public or county right-of-ways. We submitted that today, should have submitted it today, so hopefully we'll hear something from the state. I would think within a week or two, relative to where we're at. If we don't hear something, I'll reach out to them, meeting Homeland Security, and find out where we're exactly at. The only other update I have is Evans Hill Road. I think we did receive something from either Core or IDM, probably IDM, today, saying that we should have something in hand by the end of the month. That obviously this has been, they've drawn this out long enough anyway, and we should have something by the end of the month relative to hopefully a permanent fix on Evans Hill Road. That's all I had.
Okay, great. Any announcements on your end? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Jerry, second by Jamie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.